during this entire conversation as we start this live stream. But ultimately, today, we're talking about your breakthrough is on the other side of your discomfort. Family, if we will please to begin the conversation, comment below. Playing small is no longer an option. And I want you to say that with your chest this morning, y'all. Playing small is no longer an option. It's important for us to understand, family, that there's a version of you that's waiting on the other side of your comfort zone. But the truth of the matter is that you'll never meet this person if you keep playing small. Today, during this live session, I want to dive deep into what it's going to take for us to grow into the next level of our life, for us to grow into the next level of our purpose. I see the comments coming up. Ultimately, it's important for us to understand that growth is not going to come from us playing safe. It will never happen within the corridors of our comfort zone. It comes from us stretching, challenging ourselves. It comes from us making bold decisions, even when we're uncomfortable. It comes from us literally taking steps and showing up, even if we're a little intimidated or scared. If you know for a fact that you're feeling stuck right now, if you know for a fact that right now you've been playing it safe, or maybe historically, you've been putting limitations on your capabilities, if you know for a fact that you've been resisting the unknown, this conversation is for you. If you know for a fact that fear and doubt have been hijacking your mind, they've been overwhelming you to the point that you're operating in an impoverished state, this particular conversation is for you because it's time for a shift. It's time for us to do something new, to create a new outcome and a better result. If you're ready to stop shrinking and start owning your next level, it starts right here, right now, family. Right here, right now. It's important for us to understand that your future self is counting on you to have courage today. That's worth repeating. Your future self, your greater level, is counting on you, Rashonda, to lead with courage, to make bold decisions, Kevin, and to step into the unknown, even though it's challenging, and embrace the discomfort so something extraordinary can unfold. Everybody comment below. This is going to be an interactive conversation. I got you guys using your thumbs this morning. Comment below. I am breaking through. I'm breaking through. That's our goal, right? I'm talking about that ceiling that seems to be holding you back. Today, I want us to bust through and break through to that next level. I am breaking through. As you guys comment below, let me take a quick sip. I'm breaking through. One of the greatest advice that I was given from a mentor of mine gave me this advice a few years ago, and it really had me pondering and thinking. He said, David, I understand that you want to break through in your life. And he said, it's clear that you're working hard and you're working diligent, but it's something that you have to understand about a breakthrough. He said, for a breakthrough to take place, something has to break. And he just gave me that. And I'm like, yo, can you complete that sentence for me? Can you give me some better understanding of what that means? And he said it in a way where he was encouraging me to really begin to ponder on that thought, right? For a breakthrough to take place, something has to break. And as I began to reflect on this conversation that I was having with him, I came to the realization, y'all, that what he meant was for a breakthrough to take place, the things that have to break are not on the external, but in so many cases, it's on the internal. For a breakthrough to take place, something has to break within me. I may have to break a mindset. I may have to break a limiting belief. I may have to break some disempowering emotional state that I find myself in. I may even have to break certain bad habits that are unproductive and have been stunning my growth and preventing me from making progress. I may have to literally shake up and disrupt and break the current environment that I find myself in. What I'm really getting at is this, family. In order for you to get to your next level, When you want to rise to a new level of success, your greater level is always going to require a greater version of you. And so many of us, we get caught into the trap of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. We get stuck within, again, the corridors of our comfort zone, and we wonder why nothing seems to grow. Nothing seems to flourish. Everything seems to reflect the same thing that we experienced years before. And that's simply because we aren't willing to break and disrupt what we've grown accustomed to. Real quick story that helped me gain this understanding even deeper, right? Yesterday, my wife and I, we were kind of looking at some old videos on YouTube when I initially started my YouTube channel. This is way back in like 2013, y'all. And we were kind of just laughing at ultimately the growth that I've experienced over the years. And as I was reflecting on these videos and watching myself, right, really deliver a message, it brought me back to that moment, right, in 2013 when I had the idea of starting this channel. And I can remember it like it was yesterday, y'all. Like I knew in that particular stage in my life, I wanted to be a professional speaker. I had just started my business. I recently got laid off from a position in sales, and I'm starting a new chapter. And I knew at the time that for me to get my message out there, the best medium to deliver content was through video. But this was something that really stretched me. It brought me outside of my comfort zone. I can remember, y'all, I convinced my wife, we were living in a condo at the time. I said, hey, I want to set up our garage to be like a recording studio. I got a backdrop, I got some lights, and purchased them off of Amazon. And I've got this little iPad I'm creating videos on, right? And I put it on a tripod. And I remember the very first time, y'all, I was making a video. The lights are shining on me, and your boy just froze. Like, I'm aiming to deliver a message. I'm aiming to communicate an idea, and I'm stumbling over my words. Like, people often compliment me now on my ability to communicate, right? Communicate through video, communicating on stage, and telling stories. Like, they see the outcome, but they don't see the process that it took to get there. Where I'm finding myself, where I'm the only person in the room and I'm sweating bullets because it's taking me hours to make a 3-minute video. I'm trying to remember my script, and I find myself just shifting my body around. Am I doing this right? Am I saying this right? I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone, and this is something that was so intimidating to me. Now, mind you, at this time, I had spoken on stages in front of thousands of people, but for some odd reason, when I look within this lens, it was very uncomfortable. And I remember it like it was yesterday, Kevin. And the shift that took place was when I gave myself permission to be who I am, to make a mistake, to be different, to be unique. I mean, there's so many lessons in this for many reasons on why I was stumbling over my words. I was trying to be something that I wasn't, right? I was trying to be someone that ultimately I wasn't created to be. And when I gave myself permission to be who I was, then the message started flowing authentically, right? Not only that, but even though it was discomforting, even though it was challenging and I was stepping into the unknown, I had to give myself permission to make a mistake, because so many of us are being slaves to perfection without the understanding that we're not slaves to perfection, we're work in progress. And we've got to own that, right? D1, what are you really getting at? What I'm getting at is this. Fast forward to today. It was moments like that where I embraced discomfort that ultimately over the years gave me access to opportunities that I couldn't even imagine. Because every single time I made a video, I did it scared. I did it even though I was intimidated. I did it even though it was discomforting. I did it even though it was challenging and intimidating. I kept showing up. And you being in this broadcast is evidence in and of itself that when you begin to embrace the discomfort, you can connect with others with your message and your story. When you begin to step into the unknown, doors of opportunity will begin to open up for you. When you begin to embrace the uncertain, even though it may be challenging, but it's through that challenge that growth is being experienced. And as you grow, you add value to yourself. And when you add value to yourself, you can add value to others. Again, there's so many lessons that we can pull from this particular story. But what I'm really saying is this. For me, it was speaking in front of a camera. Like one particular challenge that I had. What is that for you? What have you been avoiding that seems to be challenging and discomforting that you know you need to step boldly into because it can open up doors that you can't even imagine? You've got goals, you have dreams, and you have new levels that you're aiming to experience. But for some odd reason, you keep talking yourself out of taking that initial step. You know what you need to do, but there's a difference between knowing what to do and doing what it is that you know. And the thing that's standing in front of you and experiencing more that life has to offer is the fears and the doubts that you're allowing to hijack your mind. You're allowing that voice from within to talk you out of taking that initial step. But hear me clearly, family. The best way to battle that inner critic is to start doing the very thing that you once convinced yourself that you couldn't do. Start doing the very thing that brings forth that anxiety and that fear. Because as you start taking courageous steps, those courageous steps lead to confidence. And then that confidence leads to better outcomes and better results. What I'm really saying is this: the cave that you're afraid to enter, it holds the treasure that you seek. There's a future version of you that will only exist if the present version of you has the courage to lead into new opportunities and step boldly outside of your comfort zone. Let this message be a reminder, family, that you were not called and created to play life small. This new level that you're aiming to experience is going to require new levels of confidence, courage, and consistency. There's a part of you that's trying to talk you out of it, but there's a voice on the inside of you that's encouraging you to take this initial step. Growth is never comfortable. If it's comfortable, it's not growth, it's stagnation. But the more you lean into that discomfort, the more you discover about yourself, the more discipline you develop, the skills that you begin to acquire will enhance your life. And most importantly, you conquer yourself. You master yourself. And when you master yourself, you can start mastering your life and positioning yourself for new opportunities. And most importantly, to make an impact in the lives of the people that you've been destined to serve. So here's the call to action. I challenge you to make a bold step this week. I don't know what that is for you. Whatever it is for you, make a bold step. Start writing that first chapter of that book idea that you have. If you want to share your message, start creating content online. Record yourself for the very first time. Like, I'm talking about the first cut. Record yourself and put it out there. Put your idea out there. Maybe it's you need to release yourself from things that are not serving you. Maybe that business idea that you have, seek out mentorship, find a coach, invest in someone that's going to pour into you and help you position this idea into a reality in your life. Whatever that bold step is for you, let's take that step. Because again, if you don't get anything else out of what I said during this conversation, remember, there's a future version of you that will only exist if the present version of you has the courage to venture outside of your comfort zone. Somebody in this conversation right now, like historically, you've been caught into the cycle of your comfort zone, doing what's easy, doing what's convenient, instead of doing what's necessary. Understand that easy is never going to give you access to greatness. Convenience is never going to give you access to something extraordinary. You have to be willing to disrupt your comfort zone to experience the breakthrough that you envision. Whatever that breakthrough is for you, I challenge you this week to take a step outside of your comfort zone to see what's possible. Again, this broadcast right now is a testament to your boy just simply confronting my discomfort, confronting my fears, confronting my insecurities. And even though I was shaking on the inside, I kept showing up, aiming to get better, but most importantly, aiming to add value. Because when your passion is greater than your fear, family, fear becomes irrelevant. I know I've said a lot of things during this conversation, but I'm hoping that something that I'm saying is resonating with a leader that's on the receiving end of this broadcast. Maybe I'm speaking to your heart right now. Maybe it's really kind of poking thoughts in your mind. Whatever it is, I want the end result to be you taking action. Let's not just get excited. Let's not just feel passionate and inspired about what this message is communicating to us. Allow you to be empowered to the point that you're taking action. Because again, playing small is no longer an option. No. You were created for bigger things. Your life means much, much more. Your purpose is way too big for you to just spend your life avoiding just a few discomforting or uncomfortable feelings. Think about that for a moment. The things that are stopping you, you mean to tell me the thing that's stopping you is really just fear? Really just a thought in your mind? Really just a feeling that you have in your body? You mean to tell me this is stopping you from living your best life? You mean to tell me this is preventing you from making the impact that you've been created to make? You mean to tell me this is what's holding you back from experiencing everything that life has to offer? The thought, the idea, the picture in your mind, that fear that you feel, that's the only thing stopping you? Really, the truth of the matter is it's not the fear, it's you that's holding you back. Because you're the one that's giving the fear, the power, and the fuel to begin to manipulate and control you. Man, I wish I had time to break this down, y'all. Let today be the day that the breakthrough takes place. I'm not even talking about you busting through that next level. I'm talking about internally. You breaking those things that have been holding you back, robbing you of your success, sabotaging your progress, and preventing you from growing into everything that you were created to be. Let this be the day that you make the bold decision, the executive decision that today I'm going to lead my life with courage. I'm going to live my life with boldness. And remember, even though you feel the fear, even though you feel the anxiety, you don't have to be stopped by it. Because courage is not the absence of fear. It's you feeling that fear, but you're doing it anyway. It's you being intimidated, but you showing up anyway. It's even though you feel that discomfort, you stay consistent anyway, because you understand there's a future version of me on the other side of this discomfort. There's greater outcomes on the other side of this fear. There's a breakthrough that I can experience in my life and create change for my family and generations to come by me making a bold choice in this very moment. Again, I've said many things. I'll wrap it up by saying this. 3 words. Lead with courage. If you slid into this broadcast and I was unable to give you a shout out, be sure to comment below. And if in fact this is your first time, or maybe your first time in a long time, I welcome you. And I want to shout you out personally as well. Put a number 1 in the chat and then place your first name afterward. Again, place a number 1 in the chat and then put your first name afterward. I'm hoping somebody somewhere found some value from this conversation. I'm hoping that you benefited from this session. If so, put some fists up in the chat below. Put some emojis in the chat below. Let your boy know you were picking up what I was putting down during today's discussion. Most importantly, put some fists up in the comments below if you are going to take action. If you're going to let today be the day where the change takes place, right? Like most people are anxious to change their situations but unwilling to change themselves. I want you to make the executive decision. I'm changing myself right now to create a positive change in my life. Confronting my dissatisfaction also. I hear you, Kevin. Hashtag purpose. I'm loving it. Joel, my brother from another mother, I'm absolutely living my life with courage and boldness. Excellent. I see the fist up. Yukita's in the building. Memphis, Tennessee, stand up. Thank you, big brother Bruce Ramsey, for the invite. Absolutely. Appreciate you sharing this out. Again, family, it's not too late for you to share this out with the people that you do personally care about. Please, excuse me, I picked the wrong screen. I'll get to that here in a second. Technology is not cooperating with us this morning, but nonetheless, we're going to keep this train moving. But family, share this out with the people that you do personally do care about. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can tag somebody in the chat below. If you're watching this on X, retweet this. For those watching this on LinkedIn, you can share this with your network. And for everybody, in fact, everybody, Kevin, everybody everybody tapped in on YouTube. Hit the like button if you would, please. and then share the link out with 3 people that you personally know that can benefit from today's discussion. Text it to them, email it to them, DM it to them, however way you can communicate it to them, get it to them so they can watch the replay and be empowered by today's broadcast. Shalia, I see the fist. Mia, I see the fist. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I appreciate you all support and grateful that you've benefited from this discussion. Now we can transition into the socials. Family, if we've yet to connect on other platforms, be sure to connect with your boy. I'm at #1 Gibson on platforms such as Instagram as well as Facebook. You guys heard me reference my YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe there. That's where all my long-form content is available. Short films, documentary series as well. That's at youtube.com/David Gibson. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn if you're on that platform. Also, I get many people reaching out saying how can they contribute financially to this mission and the work that we are doing to empower leaders like you. You can give me a donation at Cash App at $D1 Gibson. We truly appreciate your support. Again, that's $D1 Gibson on Cash App. So the same as my Instagram handle, but just put a $, in front and it'll go to the right place. Also, for more information on my coaching and speaking services, be sure to connect with me on my website at elevationIsAmust.com. Also, family, if you guys have yet to connect and subscribe to my newsletter, my growth newsletter that comes out every single week, you guys are missing out on great value, where I share an insight that you can begin to reflect on throughout the week, as well as some calls to action that will help you implement many of these particular growth resources into your day-to-day life. So be sure to tap in. Again, that's at elevationIsAmust.com. With that being said, family, I appreciate you all tapped in and tuning into today's conversation as we do transition into the conclusion of this broadcast. Before we wrap this thing up, if you're going through a hard time or a difficult season, challenging moment in your life, understand this too shall pass. So don't make a permanent decision that's based upon a temporary feeling, temporary circumstance. I need you to lock in. Everybody comment below, lock in this week. Lock in on what you value. Lock in on what matters the most. Lock in on what you desire. Stay focused on productivity. Stay focused on empowerment. Stay focused on purpose. And as you lock in on what you value and don't get tuned into the noise and the distractions, you can stay consistent. You can remain disciplined, and you can keep persevering until you succeed. And I get it. Sometimes you may have to do it with tears rolling down your face. Sometimes you have to do it with your back up against the wall. Sometimes it seems like you have hit rock bottom, but I've learned from personal experience, hitting rock bottom is a great foundation to build on. You may have to start over, but now you can build something great. You can build something extraordinary with a structure that's going to withstand the test of time, the adverse conditions, challenging moments. You can build something that lasts. So don't you give up on what's possible. Don't you give up on your goals. Don't you give up on yourself. You keep persisting until you succeed. And remember, if nobody tells you that they love you this week, remember, your brother D1 Gibson has nothing but love for each and every single one of you. With that being said, family, again, I appreciate you all tapped into the broadcast. I'm hoping that you found some value. Let's apply it to our lives. Let's conclude this broadcast. We're going to be back at it next week, Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But in the meantime, be effective, be successful, live with some passion, and most importantly, please join in with your boy. 3 pounds to your chest. 1, 2, 3. Be powerful. Have a phenomenal Monday and an extraordinary week. I'll see you all soon. Peace.